Hello everyone, today we are going to start our topic about clearance. The clearance is the volume of blood that cleared of drug, and the volume of plasma cleared of a drug per unit time. The clearance may be impaired with the defects in cardiac, hepatic, or renal dysfunctions. Firstly, we have to understand ourselves what is a clearance. For example, I will make a tube having the 1 liter volume, and I am putting 5 molecules, and each molecule is equal to 1 gram, then total it's a 5 gram, and the concentration is a 5 gram per liter. And the kidney excreted 5 gram of a drug. So, how much volume will be cleared? How much volume will be filtered? So, we already know the 5 gram was present in 1 liter. So, 1 liter volume is cleared, or you can also find by outputting the formula, like rate of elimination, okay? Like 5 gram per minute, the kidney is equating how much drug we have to according to plasma drug concentration that for the 5 gram per liter. And the volume become 5 could be the 5 and answering 1 liter, okay? So the clearance will be 1 liter. The second thing, the clearance will be the liters per minute. It's the volume flow. And if we talk about this formula, then clearance equals to excretion rate divided by plasma drug concentration. Secondly, if we check how the drug is going to clear it, and it's mostly occur via the liver and kidney. The liver clearance mostly happen with the biotransformation of drug to metabolite, and it is excretion for drug into bile in GI tract by this stool, and the kidney excreting YD, urine, and the renal clearance is mostly excretion drug into urine. The second thing, and it then is also degraded from the volume distribution. For that, we need the elimination constraint, and for that, we having one more formula given on the book like volume on distribution multiplied by elimination constraint. From that formula, we can make assumption. If there is a higher volume on distribution, then there will be higher clearance. Suppose we having a tube with a 10 liter of fluid, and then 10 liter we having the 5 gram of drug. It's some drug A. And so I have one more tube with the 1 liter of volume, and drug B having the 5 gram inside. After 1 minute, both tube cleared 5 gram. But after that, we will find the clearance of both tube, then let's see what would be happen. According to the formula, we have to put the rate of elimination from drug A to 5 gram per minute. For the drug A, divide by the plasma concentration that for the 5 gram. Five gram in it, 10 liters, right? It will be, we've got 1 into 2, it's a 0.5 per liter. Actually, in that part, in plasma drug concentration, we have to write according to per liter. So, this is 5 gram in 10 liter. So, it will become 1 into 2 divided 1, it will come to 0.5 gram per liter. So, 5 gram per minute divided by 0.5 gram per liter, if answer is will be equal to 10 liter. Okay, for the drug B, therefore the 5 gram per minute, and it will be divided by 5 gram per liter, and the clearance will come 1 liter. So, it is obvious that The volume distribution also affects increase the clearance rate. In this, the volume distribution was 1 liter and we clearing 1 liter in this group. And drug A or group A, we having the volume distribution of 10 liter. And is it clearing to 10 liter? It's simple enough it. So, we are going to write a statement that if you have a higher the volume distribution, the very higher volume holding the drug, and they will be higher clearance. And secondly, the volume for blood is cleared of a drug, and secondly, we are moving to the next thing that is the elimination constant. To find about the elimination constant, we can convert this formula like that. Elimination constant can be equal to clearance divided by volume weight distributed. So, if the clearance is high, elimination constant would be high. If volume distribution is less, elimination constant would be high. If you can make that, if the volume distribution is high, then the elimination constant will be decreases. And it's all about the clearance, and again we are reading the volume of plasma cleared of drug per unit time is called clearance, and it also impaired with the defects in the cardiac, hepatic, and renal function. In cardiac, blood did not pump by the heart, and it will not go to the kidney. So drug will tear less, and it can be result in toxicity. Same with the liver, the remote not biotransformation. The concentration of drug can be increases, and it will lead to toxicity, and kidney did not filter the blood easily, and concentration of drug will be increased in body, and it results in toxicity, and it's all about clearance. Half-life. The half-life is the time required to change amount of drug in the body by 1/2. The time required to eliminate half of the drug from the body. All change the drug in the 1/2. Usually time for drug to fall is 50%, and it depends on volume of distribution and the clearance. Okay? If I make one graph like it's a 0 second and for the 100% concentration, the first half-life it becomes the 15%. And in the second half-life it becomes 25%. In third half-life it becomes 12.5. And fourth half-life it becomes 6.25. And for the repeat decreases. But if a body came from the concentration when you go below the concentration of 6.25, then it not having impact on body, having 0 impact, and it is equal to almost all drug as excreted. And secondly, there's the one more thing, it's a steady state. Before we have to define the steady state, I will want to make a graph. It's a graph. In this graph, I'm writing half-life on x-axis and those on y-axis. Okay? For instance, first half-life, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Okay? It's start, and this is 5 grams, 10 gram, 15 gram, 20 gram, it is at 25 grams. Fine. I'm taking the car to injecting one dose on 0 second, and it is about 10 grams. After the half-life it will become 5 grams. Again, we have to inject that dose, and it will become the 15 gram. Again, after the half-life, it becomes 7.5 grams. After again we injected dose, it will become 7.5. And then it become 17.5. With 17.5 came again having we divided that number around 8.75. Again, we inject it will become 18.75. After half-life, we get 9.75. Again, we ejected and 8 onward cross, 20 grams. And after that, half-life it will come to 10. Again, we inject it become 20, 10, again 20 and 10. From this graph, I want to elaborate one thing. In the first half-life, the dose came in here. In second half-life, days. Third half-life, 8.75. Fourth half-life, 9.75. And fifth, it becomes a 10. And after the fourth half-life, it make a steady state, equilibrium, like 10, 20, 10, 20, 10, 20. And we go on to maintaining the dose. Fine. And this phase, after the fourth half-life, is also one important MCQ. And also an important question after the 4 to 5 half-life, we will get a steady state. Now we'll move the steady state to the dynamic equilibrium in which drug concentration stayed constant when the rate of a drug elimination is equal to rate of drug administration. And that if you guys notice it become 10, 20, 10, 20, 10, 20 means the rate of drug we are administering, that is a 10 gram, it's equal to elimination. That is also 10 gram. Okay, when it comes to 10, we are giving 10, it become 20. And after half-life, 10 grams eliminated again. When administrating the 10 gram, it become 20. Fine. What is a steady state in which the rate of drug of elimination is equal to rate of drug administered? In first-order kinetics, a drug infused at a constant rate takes 4 to 5 half-life to reach that steady state. In upcoming lectures, we will study about the first-order kinetics. It's about the elimination of different decay. Two types of mostly kinetic orders, the zero-order kinetics and first-order kinetics. It takes 3 to 0.3 half-life to reach the 90% of street PLAB. Again, for how you have to calculate the half-life. The half-life is equal to 0.7. This is 7% of volume distribution. We'll divide it by T clearance. And already I told earlier the volume distribution is high. The half-life will be high. But the clearance will become high, then volume distribution become decreases. We're going to clearance in denominator. Okay? To take in thing, we are done about the half-life, and this I will want to summarize this. The half-life is totally about time in which drug become half a concentration, 1/2. And secondly, it depends on volume distribution, and clearance in volume distribution is increasing. Half-life will also increase. If the clearance is increased, then half-life will be decreased. And it's all about a half-life. How to calculate a dose? Okay, there are two types of doses. What's its loading dose? It's including maintaining dose. The maintenance dose is just enough drug to replace food first eliminated. And the loading dose is a given when time to steady state is very high. And get to steady state more quickly, we are giving the loading dose, and when the half-life is very high. When the half-life you're in loading dose you're giving when the half-life is high, it's not easy to difficult to get steady state. And when we want the steady state very quickly, we are giving the loading dose. In kidney and liver diseases, maintenance dose may fall. In renal or liver disease, maintenance dose can be decreased, and the loading dose is really unchanged. Because the loading dose is just a starting dose to get steady straight quickly. But the maintenance dose, depending on liver and kidney, because maintenance dose is the replace of a drug that was eliminated. If the renal if patient having the renal or liver disease, the drug will not eliminated or clearance will not done easily. So the cadence has been decreased, and we having more time. And our drug having high concentration in body. So for maintaining, we will give less dose. I think it is understandable for you guys, okay? And secondly, how we'll calculate the maintenance dose. Actually, the maintaining dose and maintenance dose is a dose rate equal to elimination rate. Okay, that dose rate that is equal to elimination rate. The elimination rate is a drug multiplied by clearance. For example, we are taking a drug with a concentration of 5 grams per liter, okay? And the clearance is 5 liters per minute. So our dose rate will be 25 grams per minute in every minute. And after every minute, we have to go 25 grams to the patient to maintain the therapeutic dose. Understand? Again, I'm repeating, for example, we need the plasma concentration of 5 grams per liter, and clearance is 5 liters per minute. So after the multiplying, we get a dose rate of 25 grams per minute. We have to give 25 grams after every minute to maintain the therapeutic dose to get the effect of that drug. Understand? And now we are going to our next thing, that is loading dose. The loading dose is a target concentration. For example, we having target concentration of 5 grams per liter. Okay, this concentration we need in the body. We have to multiply this concentration with the volume distribution. For example, volume distribution is 10 liter. So if we have to multiply 5 multiplied by 10, it's a 50 grams. Okay, and we have to give 50 grams per liter on the loading dose to that patient. Understand? But if you guys note on these formulas, to the F, bioavailability. Guys, it is an important concept. If you are giving any drug having the bioavailability less than 100%, then you have to divide the loading dose or maintaining dose with the F. For example, I am giving one drug having the availability of 50%. Okay, so we having the loading dose of 50 grams for that patient, but now its bioavailability is less than 100. Its bioavailability is 50%. So we have to divide it with the 50, and it will become 5. 0.5 will come to 5, it will 1 and become 100. Okay, become T 100 grams per liter. Fine. And theme for the maintenance dose. Theme for maintenance dose, we also have to divide maintenance dose with bioavailability. For example, in the last equation we done that our maintenance dose was 25 grams per minute. But the bioavailability of that drug is 15%, 50%. So we have to divide 5 grams per minute. 25 grams per minute with the 50%. 50% if we divide the person having, for the correct person if we have 2 divided by 100. 1 0 got find 0 and it becomes 5 finds a 5. 5 2s are 10 and 1 by 2 is equal to 0.5. So we have to divide it by 0.5 and we get the answer of 50 grams per minute. Now we have to give 50 grams after every minute to maintain the therapeutic dose, because the bioavailability is less than 100%. Understand? If having any dose, again I am repeating the same thing. If any drug having the bioavailability equal to 100%, then the formulas will be same, and you don't have to divide with bioavailability. If any drug having the bioavailability less than 100%, you have to divide the loading dose on maintenance dose with the bioavailability. Understand? Again, the loading dose is the plasma conservation you want, multiply the volume distribution, dividing by bioavailability, when the drug having bioavailability less than 100% only. For the maintenance dose, you have to multiply the target plasma concentration with the clearance and with the dose interval, the interval between two doses. And if the drug having bioavailability less than 100%, then you have to divide. Without bioavailability, this is the one statement written here, time to steady depends primarily on the half-life and is independent of dose and dosing frequency. No doubt, what I did done interval last lecture of half-life, that has steady state. We mostly get after the 4 to 5 half-lives. And it totally depends on the half-life of the drug, not about the dose and the dosing frequency. Understand? And if we want to summarize it all, kinetic pharmacokinetics, I want to give some key points that volume of distribution. That volume of distribution is equal to the amount to injected divided by drug. That clearance equals to 0.7 of volume of distribution divided by half-life. And for the half-life, you need 4 to 5 half-lives to get steady state. And for the loading dose, you can multiply the steady state with the volume and distribution and divide by down bioavailability. And most important thing in this paragraph, many times we watch and we saw that MCQs in reality, but this is the maintained dose will decreases, and in loading dose, usually unchanged. It is an important statement. Now we are going to start our new topic of drug metabolism. The drug metabolism is mostly occurring in liver that react with the drugs and metabolizes it. Merely biotransformation of drugs. Biotransformation of drug. And it usually converts the lipophilic drugs to hydrophilic products. It creates the water-soluble metabolites for excretion. And these reactions are classified as phase 1 and phase 2. And in phase 1, the lipophilic drugs converting into hydrophilic products. And its predominant depends on cytochrome 415 enzymes. And phase 1 includes reduction, oxidation, and hydrolysis, in which the other reduction in the elimination of hydrogen, oxidation, gaining of oxygen molecule, and hydrolysis the breakdown of water molecule. And it makes the slightly warmer metabolite that can be active or inactive products and can be the active oxygen metabolites. There are two key facts about phase 1 metabolism. The phase 1 metabolism can slow in elderly people. It can slow in elderly patients. And secondly, the phase 1 includes a cytochrome P450 system. What is a cytochrome P450? It's an intracellular enzyme that metabolizes many drugs in phase 1, and it can be inhibited or induced by many drugs. If cytochrome P450 inhibited, then the level of drug will be raised. And if that induced, the level of drug will be, or concentration will be decreased in the body. So inhibitors are more dangerous, because if it is inhibited, then concentration of drug will be increased and it can be toxic for the body. And then some drugs like cyclosporine, some macrolides, and azole antifungal drugs that mainly inhibit cytochrome P450. Luckily, many P450 metabolized drugs rarely, and we are not using them nowadays, like thiophyllene, cisaprine, and definitin. And some clinical relevant possibilities are, like if somebody is taking the statins. Okay, someone is taking the statins and he also takes some inhibitor of cytochrome P450, angiotensin rhabdomyolysis, pre-tone of muscles. And if someone is taking warfarin, and plus he is taking inhibitors of this enzyme, they can be caused bleeding and other side effects. Anyways, no warfarin have a very low therapeutic index. Now I want to write the names of inducers and the inhibitors of cytochrome P450 enzyme. Inducers include rifampicin, rifampin, phenobarbital, then carbamazepine, garisifalvin, and phenytoin. And these inhibitors mostly are skinning thumb, isoniazid, atromycin, cimetidine, azoles, grapefruit juice, and retinol. Mostly used for HIV. Okay guys, it's all about the phase 1 in which it is predominantly independent cytochrome P450 enzyme that can be induced by some drugs like rifampicin, phenobarbital, carbamazepine, etc., and also inhibited by some drugs like isoniazid, erythromycin, cimetidine, azole, glyphosate, and ethereal. And secondly, the phase 1 includes the reduction, oxidation, hydrolysis of drug, and it made the lipophilic drug into a hydrophilic drug for excretion. And the second is phase 2, in which the polar drugs of water soluble that will be converted from direct to oxygen metabolites into very polar hydrophilic metabolite and excreted from the urine sweatened by the stool. And phase 2 includes the glucuronidation, acetylation, and sulfation, and methylation. In that, for example, one compound of a drug, he will add a methyl group in that glucuronide group, acetylation, sulfur group, anything to make it more hydrophilic and more polar. Okay? But take some acylatic metabolites. It is a very important. Clinically, it is a very important thing. Acetylation. All patients having genetically limited degrees in hepatic N-acetyl transferase. And acetylation is the main route of isoniazid metabolism and also important for the sulfasalazine anti-inflammatory, and prokinamide hydrolysine can cause a drug-induced low pace, and these both drugs metabolized by acetylation. And most likely, it is happening among the slow acetylators. It is a process acetylation, but in this, it is the enzyme N-acetyl transferase that is a decrease in some person due to genetically mediated phenomena. So, the drug that is metabolized by acetyl enzyme like hepatic and acetyltransferase can become toxic in that person, like prokinamine hydrazine can cause drug-induced lupus in that. Read about the lines of the first aid. The drugs can be metabolized by either both phase 1 or phase 2 reactions. These reactions serve to bioactivate or deactivate the substance. Here also having some drugs, prodrugs that is not inactive after they come to the level after metabolism. These drugs become activate. Okay? And do not have to take place sequentially like phase 1 can follow phase 2 or take place as single reaction. Like some drug only metabolize by phase 1 and is created from the body, sometime only from the phase 2 and metabolized. It is not like every drug had to follow the phase 1 and phase 2, and they have to go from both phases like that. The same line the right above, the first line, that either phase 1 or phase 2 or both phase 1 and phase 2, okay? Geriatric patients close, phase 1 false. Patient who are slow acetylase F1, increasing adverse effects from the certain drug because of decrease due to metabolism. The same line we already study now. Due to one enzyme, hepatic and acetyltransferase, used in the working is decrease amount of hepatic and acetyltransferase. Due to the decrease in rate of metabolism in drug like isoniazid, prokinamine, hydrazine, sulfasalazine, it will give an adverse effect to that patient. It is all about a drug metabolism. See you in next lecture.